Hi and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the most recent round of the WHSmith Zoella Friends Book Club. All 8 books that I'm about to show you and talk about were actually very kindly sent to me by WHSmith, so thank you so much for that. I actually did an unboxing video when I received them as well, so if you would like to watch that, then I will leave a link in the description box for you. Actually, I think it could be quite useful for you to watch the unboxing video first, because in that I actually read the descriptions of each of the books that I'm about to talk about, and I'm not going to repeat myself by reading the descriptions again in this one. So if you don't know anything about these books or you want to know more about them in detail, then go and watch that video first and then come back and watch the reviews. Going back quickly to the fact that I was sent these books by WHSmith, that still means that all of the opinions I'm about to share are my own. I would never do a video for you where I'm not giving my honest review. So let's get on to the books. The first book that I read in the Zoella Friends Book Club was Moxie. This book has such a strong female message, which is one of the things I liked most about it, so I do recommend that all girls in high school and college read this. Obviously boys can read it as well, but it's such a strong message that I feel that all girls should hear. I really liked the main character of Vivian in this book. I liked that she started a zine and handed it out anonymously amongst her classmates, and I loved that she started a girl revolution. I loved the writing of this book. It was almost addictive because I couldn't put it down, and I would love to read anything else by Jennifer. Overall, I loved this book. I really liked the message that it gave out, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Next is The Start of Me and You, and I'm just going to jump straight into it and tell you that I absolutely adored this book. I loved the plot of this book, and I loved how the story progressed. It was really interesting to see Paige's journey. Obviously I loved Paige as a main character, but I have to say my favourite character was Max. He's just adorable. I loved him. I think the writing of this book is phenomenal. I actually could have read this a lot quicker than I did, but I made myself slow down so I could savour it and enjoy it more, and I'm so glad that I did that. If you couldn't already tell from the amount of love that I've just given this book, I absolutely adored it, and obviously I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Next up in the book club was Orbiting Jupiter by Gary D. Schmidt. I hadn't heard of this book before the Zoella Book Club, but as soon as I read the description I really wanted to read it. I actually managed to read this all in one sitting because, as you can see, it is not a very long book, and I really enjoyed it. The plot of this book was something so different from anything that I've ever read before. It was so unique, and I really liked reading the story of these 2 young boys. I also loved the writing style and how it really put you into the mindset of this young boy. This book also had me tearing up a few times as well, which won't come as a surprise to anyone that knows me because they will tell you that it doesn't take very much to make me cry anyway. But overall I really enjoyed this book and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Next up is History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. I had actually already read this book back in April I believe, but I decided when it was included in the Zoella Book Club that I was going to read it again anyway. I liked it the first time round, but I actually ended up enjoying it even more the second time. This is another book that has a very unique storyline, and I loved reading it from Griffin's point of view. Griffin goes on quite a journey in this book, and he's a really fantastic main character, but my favourite was actually Jackson. I really liked any of the interactions between Griffin and Jackson, and I loved the relationship that they built throughout the book. Adam Silvera's writing in this book is absolutely stunning. There are some beautiful lines in this book that will definitely stay with me. I also really like how it goes back and forth each chapter between the past, which is the history, and the present day as well. Originally I rated this book as 4 out of 5 stars, but after reading it again a second time and falling in love with it even more, I changed my rating to 5 out of 5 stars. I do apologise for the lighting, by the way. If it is bothering you, trust me, it is bothering me as well. But when I sat down to film, it was really sunny and I thought, don't worry, the lighting won't change while I sit here, and then it came over cloudy, so I do apologise. The next book is The One Memory of Flora Banks by Emily Barr. This is a book that I have been wanting to read for a very long time, and I'm so glad that the book club gave me a chance to finally get around to reading it. Again, I know I've said it quite a few times with some of the books that I've already spoken about, but this book has got a really unique storyline. Flora has amnesia, and that means that the writing style is very unique because it is very repetitive, and I know that I've spoken to a few people that didn't like it because of the writing style, because it kept repeating itself, but it needed to do that to really emphasise Flora's situation, and I loved that about it. I really liked the main character of Flora, and it was interesting to see her work through her struggles and to see her develop on her journey. Overall I liked this book. It was very different to what I was expecting, but I enjoyed it all the same. I actually read this as part of my 24-hour readathon, which if you are interested I will leave a link in the description box below so you can watch the vlog for that. But I enjoyed it and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Next up is After the Fire by Will Hill, and I have heard so many people raving about this book. This isn't the kind of book that I would usually go for, but with so many people telling me how amazing it is, I knew that I had to come out of my comfort zone and read it anyway. Again, I'm sounding a little bit like a broken record, but this has got such a unique storyline to it. If you read this book, make sure you read Will's notes at the back because it tells you exactly why he chose to write this story. The character of Moonbeam is so well written and I really loved reading this from her point of view. She was such a well developed character. It took me about 100 pages of reading this book before I became fully invested in this story, but Will's writing is absolutely brilliant. I love how the chapters alternated as well for being set before and after the fire. It was really interesting and a lovely way to piece the story together. Overall, I liked this book and I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next book is Girlhood by Kat Clark. I read this whole book really quickly. I think I actually read it in only 2 sittings. I know for a fact that I read the whole first half in 1 sitting because I read it whilst I was in the bath. But this was a really quick and easy read and it just flowed really well. The storyline was really interesting and I think the writing is really good, but I wasn't that invested in the characters in this book, unfortunately. That isn't to say that I didn't like the characters or that I didn't enjoy the book, because I did like reading this one, but I just felt that there was a lot of girls in this book and they had a lot going on, so I would have liked just a little bit more focus. I just felt like there was a little something missing. But as I said, overall I did like this book and I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. The final book is Letters to the Lost, and I have been hearing so many incredible things about this book. I love the storyline of this book. I cannot recommend this to you enough. Even if you don't normally like contemporary books, I suggest you read this one because it is beautiful. I love the 2 main characters of Juliet and Declan and I adore their interactions with each other. Declan is definitely my favourite character. Both of these characters are going through a really difficult time and they are just what each other needs. This is another book that I would say has addictive writing. I couldn't put this down and it is one that I will definitely want to reread again in the future. Overall, if you couldn't tell, I absolutely loved this book and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So those were all 8 books in the current round of the WHSmith Zoella and Friends Book Club. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have taken part in the Zoella Book Club this time round, I would love to know which of those 8 books is your current favourite. If you would like to continue the discussion talking about any of the books in the current round of the Zoella Book Club or any of the previous ones, then please feel free to leave a message in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you. Or if you would like to know about my thoughts on these 8 books in a little bit more detail, then I have written 2 posts over on my blog, which I will also link down below as well. I do have another video that I plan to do that is based around the Zoella Book Club, so if you're interested in watching that, then keep an eye out for it. But for now, that is it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed watching it and I hope you've enjoyed reading the books if you took part. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you again soon in another video. Bye!